will be the best defensive player or players. I mean, that's because Olivier had started really doing some good stuff there. Obviously, his shot blocking, he gave us some rim protection, and so for the minutes that he, obviously we could swing Josiah to that spot a little bit more, but we'll need some other guys, and it's a great opportunity for some guys, and we're going to see who wants to capture it and go with it.
Rick, are you at liberty to say whether he broke his ankle?
We're just saying left ankle injury.
Yes,
Left ankle
yeah.
injury. Okay. As far as Zakai Ziegler, he's the SEC Freshman of the Week. Do you recall having many teams with the 2 point guards as good as Ziegler and Chandler?
Well, our Final Four team and that team and that Sweet 16 team, those guys were had two of them but not quite as probably as dynamic. Two guys combined, that duo where they both can do a lot of different things, shoot the ball, they can get points, they can pass it. It's really fun watching those guys when they're playing good basketball, moving the ball and playing off each other with Santi and Josiah. It's really neat to watch it when it's going well like that. But I don't know if we've had two that of that magnitude, that where obviously we could move Zakai into the starting lineup, but he has done such a tremendous job, and I don't think that really matters to him. I think what's most important to him is that we win the game and how he plays, but he's been such a dynamic spark coming off the bench. It's really hard to take him out of that role right now.
Just with Olivier going down, what does Brandon need to do to kind of take his game to the next level?
Well, it'll be Brandon, Jonas Adu. He'll have, we played Jemiah Mashak at the four some too. So, again, between those guys, it's going to be who gives us the best chance to win basketball games, and it will get down to who's the better defensive player. We have that's what's, and they're all young. All three of them are freshmen, and we think they all have the ability to score, but what we need out of them is consistency on the defensive end, and that will be who gets those minutes. I'm not saying he's going to get all those minutes because we can do some other things as well, but that's what's going to get guys on the court this time of year.
You mentioned Jonas. He hasn't really played much in meaningful minutes this year. How close is he to you being comfortable giving him that time?
Well, you know what, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, you could tell he was starting to get where we wanted him to be, playing with more speed, and there's no doubt. I mean, he's the best rim protector we have on our team. I watch him do it every day in practice, and it's I do think he's grasping right now what it takes to play at this level, night in and night out, and he's still. He's here because, one, we think he's got a great future ahead of him, but we need him to expedite it right now. Same with Brandon. We need those guys. If they don't take advantage of it, it's on them because there's an opportunity there right now.
Coach, with Jonas, when him missing all that time in November, did that set him back more physically or mentally, where he just couldn't catch up when it came time to scout an opponent every practice?
Rob, I think both. I think that when you miss that time early in the year, you're coming in from a different level to this level and understanding what goes into it day in and day out, not just physically but mentally, and so I think that once he has been able to work through some of his physical problems he had to work through, and I do think what I was probably saying earlier and probably didn't say it the right way is that where I think he's gotten so much better in the last week and a half, 2 weeks is mentally, where I think he's starting to really understand it. He can be a factor, but it's probably harder than he thought it would be coming in, but that's true of every freshman.
Your two highest point totals in SEC play came last week, and they would also happen to be Josiah's two highest point totals in the SEC. Is that a coincidence, or is it correlated, do you think?
No, I think it's a correlation. I don't think there's any question that, our older guys, they do a lot. We love to shoot the ball the way we did the other night, every night out, absolutely. Do I think we have the ability to do it? I do. But every game's going to be a little bit different, but there's no doubt. Josiah's impacted so many games, even when he's not shooting the ball great, but I tell you guys all year, even when he was struggling, from his, if you look at his percentages, people never left him alone. They respected him enough to know that he would make the shot, and I think the fact that he's continued to take those shots. I think what's helped him and our other guys shoot the ball better is that we're playing with speed. We're able to get the ball, move the ball. It's not sticking anywhere, and it's giving guys chances to get set up a little bit more and have their feet set and shoot with rhythm. But the fact is, when Josiah is playing well, you go back since he's been here, he's impacted so many games with his defense, but when he starts impacting it on the offensive end, it takes us to another level.
Where do you see John Fulkerson fitting into the role moving forward?
Well, again, I think John falls into that category too. There's minutes to be had there, and I do think John is playing with more speed himself. I think he now understands he has to do that. But between Uros, John, Jonas, and Brandon, those guys, I mean, they've all got a chance to get more minutes. But you know what, we're, like I've said many times, we're gonna go with the guys that give us the best chance to win, and we hope they'll all get consistent and find a niche and a role. And I do think Uros is in a good spot. I think John is. I think John's been doing some good things, and but we're gonna need some help out of those other guys.
Jimmy, Grant, and Mike.
Rick, what typifies a Ben Howland team, and what are your thoughts on Iverson Molinar, their guard?
Well, first, Iverson Molinar is right now, he's a candidate for SEC Player of the Year. I mean, he's got it. I mean, if you could have a guard that can, I mean, he's phenomenal around the basket. I mean, you look at what he does around the rim, the way he's got everything you can imagine that a terrific guard would have. And and that's the guy that's getting game plan for every night, and he still delivers. Ben's a terrific coach. You know, I think if you look at him, and what I've watched on tape, they're a terrific two-point team. He's got guys. They're going to pound that ball in there. They're going to really, you know, got guys that can play with their back to the basket. They're going to put it in there. There's no doubt they're going to do that. And you know, he defensively, he's very, very always has been extremely sound. And you're going on the defensive end. When you face his defense, you're going to have to take care of the basketball and work to get shots, because they're going to do what they need to do to keep you out of the high percentage area.
What have you liked from Kennedy in his response since the Texas game?
The best thing is what he's doing on the defensive end. I mean, that alone has changed Kennedy, because I would say this, not just about him, but any player. When you go in a game and you get lost on the defensive end, instinctively your offense will take care of itself. And he has worked really extremely hard since the Texas game, where he is making a real conscientious effort to stay locked in defensively. And you know, he's gotten so much better moving without the basketball. But I think that's instincts. I think that when he really loses himself on the defensive end, and I would say that about anybody, and but that's where he's gotten so much better.
Rick, also about Kennedy offensively, seemed like he just did a really good job of making the right decisions, making the right plays, and the first step last game, was that the case? It
is, Mike, and he's playing with speed. You know, I mean, he's moving the ball. It's not sticking in his hand, and when it gets back to him, I think he's ready. Again, it's really, I mean, he's grown a lot since he's been here, but when he brings it with speed, with Santi and Zakai when they're out there, or really, you know, Josiah, when we get the ball moving, whether it's VJ Bailey, whether it's, you know, Justin Powell, whoever, that ball gets moving, it opens up the court, and it gives Kennedy a chance to attack from so many different areas, as opposed to where one teams can just load up on him in a certain area. So the more he can get lost, catch it and go back, I mean, he's very effective that way.
Zach and Reese.
Rick, I talked to you out at Holston Hills over the summer. You kind of mentioned fans are going to love Zakai's attitude, the way he plays. Did you kind of see his kind of production back then? Did you kind of envision that much production for him before he even got on campus?
Well, I said it because what you see, we saw after 1 week. We saw it after 1 week. We knew that we had gotten very fortunate to have him, because for a guy, and I've said it before, Santi, the way Santi started in the middle of the season was impressive for a guy that, you know, started the way Santi had to. But for Zakai to come in a week late from everybody, hadn't spent the summer here, and how quickly he made an impact, not only on the court but with his teammates, was, again, we knew he had something special. And yeah, what he's doing now, we've been watching him do since he's gotten here.
Going back to Olivier, how is he holding up mentally? How is he feeling?
It's tough on O. It really is, and I mean, he has worked so hard, and his teammates respect him for so many different things, obviously. But when I was speaking with him last night, he's emotional about it, which, again, but we talked about it, how some way, somehow, it's going to be a blessing in disguise. We're not sure how it's going to work out, but I think it's going to help him in the long run. And because I've seen it. I've seen guys that embrace it as opposed to just shutting it down. He won't do that. He'll continue to be a great teammate. He has been a great teammate for those young guys, and he'll continue to do that. He wants to see this team win. The very first thing when he was told that, that he would be out, or before they really got the diagnosis back, the first thing he said, I can't believe I don't get to practice tomorrow. That's his mindset, because he is as unselfish as any player we've ever had, and he's gone through a lot, many ups and downs, but yet he has really started finding himself, and again, I just think he's got a great future ahead of him, and he'll make this work some way, somehow. He'll make it work for the betterment.
Rick, I know there's not ever a great time for Olivier to suffer this injury, but just how frustrating is it that it comes now after it seemed like guys were starting to figure out their roles and the team was hitting its stride the last couple of weeks?
It's sports, it is. That's what it is when you're involved in athletics, and you got to be prepared. You got to be ready. That's why we have a team, and that's why we encourage all the guys to never let go of the rope at any point in time. Those guys that, whether you want to say Jonas, whether you want to say Brandon, you name it, Zakai, Jemiah or Quentin. I said because you never know, and when that happens, you've got to be ready for it. And again, we hate it for O, and yet do we hate it for our team? Yes, but now there's opportunities for other guys, and we'll see if they can take advantage of it.
Finish up with Jimmy.
Rick, you shot it great from three-point range against South Carolina, but you were 13 of 36 on twos. Does that concern you?
No, we're not going to make all of our shots. I know you guys think we should, but we're not. And teams have a lot to do with it. There aren't many easy baskets around the rim. There really aren't. But again, we're just trying to win basketball games in any way we can. If it's making more free throws, whatever. With this team, as long as they'll continue to work and get better, play together, we can deal with that and live with that.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you, guys.